The sound of the slap echoed through the cafeteria like thunder. Diego, 15, 120 pounds, felt his face burn before he even sued what had happened. The hamburger fell to the floor. Ketchup sneezed in shabby sneakers. Absolute silence. All tables stopped. All the eyes turned to him. "Learn to walk his whale," growled Tyler Crane, 19 years old, captain of the school's soccer team, with that smile of those who have never had any consequences in life. He cleaned his hand on his own shirt as if he had touched something filthy. "It's occupying the space of 3 people here." Diego didn't answer. He just looked at the ground for the destroyed hamburger that had saved 3 weeks of allowance to buy. The cheeks burned, not by physical pain, but by humiliation, by the muffled laughs, by the cell phones pointed out, by the flashes of the cameras. The Big Joe's Burgers cafeteria was the only accessible place in the neighborhood. Cracked tiles, worn formica tables, smell of fat and chips in the air. Diego was there every Friday after school, always alone, always at the same table as the corner, always asking for the same combo. It was your ritual, your moment of peace, until Tyler Crane decides that it also needed to be taken from him. Tyler was not alone. It was never. 3 friends behind him, all uniform in the same set of adolescent arrogance and muscles inflated by supplements that parents paid. One of them held the cell phone recording. Another already laughed even before any joke is done. The third just watched, arms crossed, as a party security guard who had not been invited. "Asks for another, chubby," Tyler said, throwing a $5 note on the floor at the ketchup pool. But this time he walked slowly. "I don't want to feel earthquake." More laughs, more flashes. Someone shouted, "World Star," across the cafeteria. Diego took a deep breath, slowly, controlled. As I had learned, he bent down, took the note, cleared the napkin. Then he looked up. There was no anger there, no tears, just that strange calm, that coldness that made Tyler feel something he had never admitted to feel in life: discomfort. "Thank you," said Diego, a low but firm voice. Tyler frowned. That was not in the script. Victims cried. Victims ran. Victims begged. "They didn't thank you. What are you looking at?" Tyler stepped ahead, stuffed chest, trying to recover control of the scene. His friends approached too, forming a semicircle, a wall of muscle and misdirected testosterone. Diego just turned his back. He walked to the cashier. He ordered another hamburger, paid. He sat on the same table, alone, ignoring the laughs, ignoring the comments, ignoring the video that was already circulating in the stories with cruel subtitles. "Fat being humiliated, ka." Tyler putting his hand in the face of the whale. "This MLK never comes back here." The attendant, a gentleman named Joe, owner of the place, watched everything with a tense face. He knew Diego. I knew the boy's kindness. Education, the generous tip he always left even when he barely had money. Joe meant something. I wanted to expel Tyler, but Tyler was the son of Councilman Crane, and Joe had bills to pay, licenses to renew, so Joe just served the new hamburger. He put extra potatoes without charging. A small gesture, useless, but that's what he could do. Diego ate in silence. He chewed slowly, as if they enjoy each piece, as if nothing had happened. But something had changed in the air, a strange tension, an invisible current. Tyler and his friends left the cafeteria laughing loudly, pushing chairs, kicking empty cans on the sidewalk. The video already had 200 views, 500, 1,000, exploding comments, emojis of laughter, markings, shares. Tyler didn't even look back, but Diego, yes. He watched Tyler enter the red convertible Mustang, an 18th anniversary gift. He noted he accelerate, loud music, shouting out the window. He noted until the car disappears around the corner. Then Diego took the cell phone, not to watch the video, not to check the notifications. He knew he would be everywhere until tomorrow. It was always. It was the 5th time in 3 months. 5th school, 5th city. He entered a short message to grandmother. "I get home at 7 a.m. I bought bread. Simple, normal, like always." What no one knew, neither Tyler nor his friends nor the cafeteria customers, nor the thousands who would see that video in the next few hours, who was really that fat, beaten and wide sweatshirt. No one knew that Diego Morales was not just another obese teenager suffering bullying. He was the son of Hector Morales, and Hector Morales was not a teacher. He was not a merchant. It was not a normal guy. Hector Morales controlled 80% of West Coast drug trafficking. His name was whispered in alleys, feared in police stations, negotiated in mansions. He moved millions a week. He had judges in his pocket, police on the payroll, politicians asking for favors. But no one knew he had a son, because Hector made a point of this. 15 years ago, when Diego was born, Hector made the hardest decision in life. Hid the boy, hid from the organization itself. He hid from the rivals, hid from the media. Diego grew away from the glass and marble palaces, Far from armed escorts, far from dinners with cartels, far from executions, from the territorial wars, from the blood that stains the hands of Hector every night. Diego grew up with his grandmother in a simple 2-bedroom house in a common neighborhood. I studied in a public school. I was on the bus. I bought clothes in thrift store. I ate at the cheap corner cafeteria. He didn't know who the father really was. I thought Hector was an entrepreneur. I thought I traveled a lot. I thought it was distant by choice. But Hector has never been distant. He was just protecting the only piece of soul he still had. And now, while Diego chewed the new hamburger in silence, while Tyler and his friends accelerated down the avenue feeling invincible, while the video reached 5,000 views, a man sitting in the corner of the black cap and leather jacket lowered his cell phone. He had filmed everything. Every second, each word, each slap, each laugh. He was not any viewer. It was Ruben, head of security of Hector Morales, former military, 42 years, scars on the face, eyes that have seen things that would make strong men shake. Ruben was the shadow of Diego. It had been for the last 5 years, always at 3 tables away, always disguised, always vigilant. Hector paid Ruben more than he paid his lieutenants, because the only most important thing the empire was that boy, and Ruben had failed. He pulled his cell phone, tremendous hands, not from fear, of anger, typed a short message, "Boss, you need to see that." Attached the video. 3 dots appeared almost instantly, then a cold answer, just 2 words. Who was it? Ruben typed fast. Tyler Crane, 19 years old, team captain, son of Councilman Richard Crane. Another pause, longer this time. Then, name, address, school, family, friends, routine. I want everything in an hour. Yes, boss. And Ruben? Yes? Don't let Diego see you, not yet. Ruben kept his cell phone. He noted Diego ending the hamburger. The boy wiped his mouth. He got up, left you tip for Joe. He nodded politely. He left the cafeteria as if nothing had happened. But something had happened. Something that Tyler Craves, with all his arrogance and muscles and followers, had no idea. He had touched his wrong son, and in less than 24 hours, his entire life would crumble. Because when you hit a fat boy in any cafeteria, filming and laughing, you think that is just another viral video. One more joke, plus a number of views. But sometimes this fat boy is not just a fat boy. Sometimes he is the only weakness of the most dangerous man in town. And this man doesn't forgive. If you are enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because what comes now, you won't want to lose. Tyler Crane woke up the next day feeling a god. The video had 23,000 views, exploding comments, markings everywhere, people from school, people from other cities, even meme profiles replacing. This MLK is wild, KKK. Poor man, bro. Tyler destroyed him. Some comments criticized, of course. Always had. But Tyler didn't even read these. He only saw the numbers rising. Fame, attention, power. It was like drugs. He rolled in bed king-size from the room with a pool view. He took the cell phone, posted on stories shirtless photo, defined muscles, caption, heavy training day. In 10 minutes, 200 likes, 50 answers in direct. 3 girls sending photo. Tyler smiled. Life was good when you were him. But while Tyler would enjoy his glory morning across town, in an office without windows and no signs at the door, Ruben handed a thick envelope to Hector Morales. Everything you asked for, boss. Hector did not answer. It just opened the envelope. Inside, photos, documents, social networking impressions, school records, family history, addresses, schedules, routes, all about Tyler Crane, all about Richard Crane, the father, all about the whole family. Hector studied each page in silence. Impassive face, cold eyes like ice. He was 50, 2 years old, gray hair in the temples, thin scar on the chin. I wore impeccable gray suit, gold ring on the finger, Swiss watch on the wrist. It looked like a businessman. It seemed respectable. But Ruben knew that look. It was the look that preceded storms. Councilman Crane, said Hector, a low, controlled voice. He has a vivid to the many casinos, sports bets, 3 loans with third-line Loalettes. Who else knows that? No one important. Still, Hector closed the envelope. He leaned into the leather chair, intertwined fingers, thoughtful. And the boy? Tyler? 19 years. He repeated twice the last year. Low grades. History of violence at school. 3 allegations of archived aggression. The father always resolves, repeated Hector, almost to himself. Interesting. Ruben waited. He knew Hector for 15 years ago. I knew when to talk. I knew when to shut up. My son, said Hector, finally looking at Ruben. Does he know I saw the video? No, boss. Diego has no idea. Well, keep that. He can't know I'm involved. Understood. Hector got up. He walked to the window. Down below, the city boiled. Cars, People, lives happening without having the idea of who really controlled everything. He liked that view. I would like to know that I played the invisible wires. Ruben, he said without turning around. Do you have children? No, boss. So you don't understand. Hector sighed. I built an empire, I bought judges, I killed rivals, I control this city with iron fist, but all this, it's for my son to have something I never had. Peace, normality, dignity. He turned. The eyes were no longer cold. They were fire. And this kid dared to touch him. Ruben nodded. Tense. I want you to do something for me, he continued. Discreet. Surgical. Nothing that calls me or Diego. Understand? Perfectly. Great. Start by the father. Meanwhile at school, Diego arrived as always. Alone. Backpack on his back. Hood on his head. He entered the gates trying to be invisible, but it was impossible. Everyone had seen the video. Everyone knew. The whispers began in the hallway. This is the fat Tyler hit. Dude, what a shame. Didn't he start from school yet? Diego kept his head down. He walked to the closet, opened. Inside, someone had glued a print of the video. Below, written with red pen, whale. He ripped the paper. He kneaded. He threw it in the trash. It took a deep breath. Continued. In the history class, Professor Thompson tried to maintain normality, but even she was throwing pity for Diego. That kind of look that hurts more than any insult. The look of those who see you as a victim, as poor thing, like less. Diego hated that. At the break, he sat alone in the corner of the courtyard. He ate sandwich that his grandmother had made. I was trying to read a book, but it was impossible to ignore. Tyler was on the other side of the courtyard, center of attention, surrounded by friends, surrounded by girls, telling the story of the slap for the 10th time, making exaggerated gestures, laughing loudly. Each laugh was a stab, and then Tyler looked at Diego, smiled. He walked to him, slowly, as a predator. The friends followed. The crowd paved the way. Everyone wanted to see. Everyone took the cell phones. Part 2. Tyler stopped in front of Diego, blocked the sun, shadow over the sitting boy. So, chubby, did you sleep well? Diego didn't answer, continued chewing. I'm talking to you. Tyler kicked the book of Diego's hand. The book flew. Pages opened on the floor. Diego looked at the book. Then for Tyler, there was still no anger in the eyes, just that calm, that coldness that made Tyler restless. You don't talk, are you? Just swallow. Food. Insult. Slap. Tyler laughed at his own joke. The friends laughed together. I bet you're used to it. I bet everyone hits you. Diego finally spoke, low but clear voice. Did you end? Tyler blinked. I didn't expect an answer, because I'm trying to read. The silence was strange, embarrassing. Tyler felt he was losing control of the situation. Then he did what he always did when he felt threatened. He climbed. He took the sandwich from Diego's hand. He threw it on the floor, stepped on top. Okay, now you don't have to read it anymore. Not to eat. Diego looked at the destroyed sandwich. Piece of bread, piece of cheese, Tyler's dirty footprint in the middle. Something changed in his face, just for a second. A flash. A deep, old, contained anger. But he swallowed, pushed back inside. He got up. He took the book, cleared the cover, turned his back. Where do you think you are going? Tyler grabbed Diego's shoulder, pulling him back. Error. Diego turned, fast, faster than someone the size of it should be. He looked at Tyler straight in the eyes, very closely, so close that Tyler felt her breath, so close that you saw something I had never seen before. That fat boy was not afraid. None. Take the hand. From me. The voice was different now, more serious, firmer, almost threatening. Tyler hesitated, just for a second, but it was enough. He let go, took a step back. He tried to disguise with nervous laugh. Relax, fat. I'm just kidding. Diego didn't answer, just left. He left. Tyler stopped there, feeling something strange in his chest, something he didn't like. Respect? Fear? Doubt? No, impossible. He was Tyler Crane, captain of the team, son of the councilman, king of school. That fat was nothing. But that night when Tyler came home, something was wrong. His father, Richard Crane, was sitting in the room, alone, in the dark, whiskey's glass in hand, pale face, sweat on the forehead. Father? Richard looked at his son, empty eyes. Tyler, we have a problem. What kind of problem? Richard took a deep breath. Tremendous hands. Someone bought all my debts. Tyler frowned. Like this? All. Casinos, bleeding, loans, everything. Someone paid everything, and now I owe it. Who? I don't know. Richard's voice was a whisper. But whoever it is, sent me a message. He showed the cell phone to Tyler. An unknown number message. You have 48 hours, or everyone finds out who you really are. Tyler felt a cold in his spine, and at that very moment across the city, Diego had dinner with his grandmother. Rice, bean, chicken. They talked about the day, about books, about plans for the weekend. Normal, Pacific, like always. Diego had no idea what was happening. He had no idea that his father, the man he thought was just a distant businessman, was moving pieces on a board that Tyler Crane didn't even know it existed. He had no idea that that slap in the cafeteria had triggered something irreversible, because Hector Morales didn't forgive, and Tyler Crane was about to figure out this in the worst possible way. 48 hours. Richard Crane didn't sleep at any of them. He spent the first night trying to find out who had bought his debts. He called all contacts, sneakers, casino managers, intermediaries. No one knew, or no one wanted to talk. The answers were always the same. It was all paid, Crane. You don't owe us anymore. Now you owe to him. Who was he? Richard tried to track the number that sent the message. Blocked. Encrypted. Professional. This was not common loan work. It was something else. Something bigger. Something that stinks the real power. On the second night, Richard did what any desperate politician would do. He tried to bribe. He called the contacts in the police, offered money, favors, anything to find out who was behind it. But the answers were even scarier. Senator, with all due respect, I can't help you with that. Why? Because I like to be alive. Click. That's when Richard understood. He was not dealing with ordinary criminals. He was dealing with someone who made policemen shake. Someone who operated beyond the law. Someone invisible but omnipresent. He looked at the son, Tyler, who played video games in the room as if nothing is happening. Tyler, turn it off. Another minute, Dad. Now. Tyler snorted, but paused. It turned, annoyed. What it was? Richard sat in front of him, tired face, deep, dark circles. That video you posted? The fat boy. Who was he? Tyler shrugged. I don't know. Some school loser. Name. I don't remember. Diego something. Diego? What? Morales, I think. Why? Richard felt the blood freezing. Morales. It could not be coincidence. I couldn't. Tyler, tell me one thing. Did you check who this boy was before you hit him? Why would I do that? It's just any fat. Richard closed his eyes. It took a deep breath, tried to keep calm. You're an idiot. Do you know that? What did I do? You may have destroyed us. Tyler laughed. He thought his father was exaggerating. Relax, Dad. It's just a video. In a week, nobody remembers. But Richard was not relaxed. He took the cell phone. He researched Morales, plus city, nothing. He researched Hector Morales, also nothing. That was what made Richard even more terrified. The absence of information. Real powerful people do not appear on Google. Meanwhile, Diego was in the school library, alone, as always, sitting in the darker corner, among dusty shelves, reading a book on military strategy, Sun Tzu, The Art of War. He did not know that that book had been present of his father. I didn't know Hector had personally chosen. I did not know that each book on their small bookcase had been carefully selected by one of the most dangerous men in the country. Diego? Just Leah. Absorbed. Learned. Can I sit here? Diego looked up. He was a girl from his class, Mia Torres. Curly hair, brown eyes, always quiet. She was also invisible at school, not because it is fat, but for being poor. Old clothes, possessed backpack, daughter of cleaning lady. Of course, said Diego. Mia sat down, opened a notebook, started drawing. They were silent for a few minutes. Comfortable, no pressure. I saw the video, Mia said finally. Diego didn't answer. You didn't react. Why? It wasn't worth it. Tyler Crane is an idiot. I know. He has already hit other people. The director never does anything. His father has money. It has connections. Diego closed the book. OL ho for Mia. You're telling me that why? Mia hesitated, then said, because you don't look scared, and it should be. Diego smiled. It was strange. It was not a happy smile. It was something darker, more knowledgeable. I'm not afraid of Tyler Crane. It should. He won't stop. I know. So why don't you do anything? Diego leaned forward, low voice. Because I don't need to do anything. Mia frowned, did not understand, but something in Diego's tone made her feel a shiver. That night, Richard Crane received another message. Time running out, counselor. Tomorrow his career ends unless... Richard typed fast. Unless... The answer came instant. Your son, Tyler, he needs to apologize. Publicly. For Diego Morales. Richard read and reread. It made no sense. Whoever this guy was bought millions in debt, had power over police. It had unlimited resources. And all I wanted was an apology. Richard went to Tyler's room. He knocked on the door, entered without waiting for an answer. Tyler, you'll make a video. What kind of video? Apologizing to the boy you hit. Tyler laughed. You're slutty. I've never been so serious in my life. Dad, I'm not going to apologize for that fat. Everyone will make me funny. Everyone already, Zoa? Richard exploded, shouted, for the first time in years. You think you're king of school, but you're just a spoiled kid with no future. And now, because of your arrogance, we're fucked. Tyler was in shock. Never saw the father like that. You will make this video, today, now. What if I don't do it? Richard approached. red eyes, tremula voice. So we lose everything, the house, the car, my career, all, and you will understand what it is to be nothing. Tyler swallowed dry. For the first time in his life, he was afraid of his father. Real fear. Okay, I do it. But Tyler did not. He turned on the camera, recorded, but it was not an apology. It was another humiliation. So guys, my dad is forcing me to do this here. Apparently the chubby Morales was crying, and now I have to apologize. He laughed. So okay, sorry Morales, sorry for being fat. Sorry for not having friends, sorry for being a loser. He posted. 15 minutes later, Richard's cell phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. Tremendous hands. Hello? The voice on the other side was calm, cold, controlled. Councilman Crane, my name is Hector Morales. Richard felt the floor disappear. I'm going to be straight. Your son has touched my son, and now, you will pay for it. Can I pay? How much do you want? I don't want your money. Hector paused. I want your career. What do you mean? Tomorrow morning all newspapers will publish their debts. Your extramarital cases, your briefs, your fraud, all. I have evidence, videos, recordings, documents. Richard could not breathe. You'll renounce, you'll get out of politics, and you'll make sure your child never touch mine. What if I don't do it? So I don't give the proofs to the newspapers. I deliver to the FBI. Click. Richard dropped his cell phone, sat on the floor. He put his hands on his head. Tyler appeared at the door. Father? Who was it? Richard looked at his son, tears in the eyes. We are over. Meanwhile, Diego slept quietly. He knew nothing. I didn't know the father had moved mountains. I didn't know Tyler Crane was about to lose everything. Diego just dreamed. Simple dreams. Dreams of an ordinary boy. But tomorrow, when he woke up and linked the TV, when he saw the news, when he saw Tyler Crane crying in interviews, when he saw the whole city speaking, he would finally start to understand. Not all battles are won with punches. Some are overcome with silent power. And Diego Morales, unknowingly, had the most powerful man on the West Coast fighting for him. Tyler Crane never had a chance. He just didn't know yet. The next morning arrived like a tsunami. Richard Crane woke up with his cell phone exploding. 50 lost connections, 100 messages, notifications without stopping. He took the phone with trembling hands, opened the first link that appeared. Scandal. Councilman Richard Crane involved in fraud, millionaire debts, and extramarital cases. His blood froze. The matter had everything. Photos, documents, audio recordings, bank transactions, committing messages. Everything Hector had promised. All exposed, all lies, all the secrets. 20 years of political career destroyed in a single headline. Richard ran to the room, turned on the TV, all channels, same news. Councilman Crane under federal investigation. Police grasp documents at Richard Crane's house. Prosecutor announces opening of criminal proceedings. Richard felt his legs failed, sat on the couch, head in the hands, irregular breathing. Tyler descended the stairs, sleepy, cell phone in hand. Cuando saw his father, frowned. Dad, why do you have a lot of reporting car in front of the house? Richard could not answer. The bell rang, then strong knock on the door. Federal police opened the door. Tyler widened his eyes. Dad, what did you do? Richard looked at his son. Red eyes, broken voice. I didn't do anything. You did it. Before Tyler could ask, the door was broken into. 6 federal agents entered, weapons in hand, search and seizure warrants, TV cameras outside capturing everything. Richard Crane, you're being investigated for tax fraud, money laundering, and corruption. Everything you say can be used against you. The handcuffs clicked on Richard's wrists. Tyler watched everything paralyzed, unable to sue, unable to understand how his life had turned inside out in less than 48 hours. At school, Diego arrived normally. He had not seen the news. There was no expensive cell phone. It didn't roll social networks in the morning. He just woke up, had coffee with his grandmother, took the bus, and went to class. But when it entered the gates, something was different. People looked at him, whispered, not with mockery, with something like curiosity, fear. Diego didn't understand. It went to the closet, opened. No insult glued today. Strange. In the classroom, Professor Thompson hurried, tense face. He looked at Tyler's empty chair, then for Diego, swallowed dry. Guys, before we start, I need to inform that Tyler Crane will no longer come to this school. He was, transferred. Silence. Someone raised his hand. Why? The teacher hesitated. Family issues. Let's respect his privacy. But everyone already knew. Everyone had seen. The video of the councilman being arrested, the house being invaded by the police, the Crane family in total collapse. And then someone said aloud, does this have to do with the video he posted? Do Diego? All looks turned to Diego. Diego just looked at the window, impassive. In the break, Mia approached him. Diego, did you see? I saw what? Tyler, his father. It's in all the news. Diego borrowed his cell phone from Mia. read the headline, watched the videos. He saw Richard being taken handcuffed. He saw Tyler crying in the interviews. He saw the whole city commenting. He returned the cell phone. Neutral face. Sad, was all I said. Mia stared at him, confused. Sad? He humiliated you. He has hit you. And now, it's paying. That doesn't make me happy. But don't you think he deserved it? Diego looked at Mia. That calm look. That look that carried something much bigger than she could understand. I don't want it badly to anyone, Mia. Not who hurt me. But while Diego said that, across the city, Hector Morales watched everything from his office. He didn't smile, did not celebrate, just watched. As who ends a chess play. It needs. Calculated. Inevitable. Ruben was beside him. Boss. Tyler Crane was expelled from school. The family is bankrupt. The father will be indicted. The mother asked for divorce. They will lose everything. Hector nodded slowly. And Diego? He doesn't know anything. He thinks it was coincidence. Good. That should continue. Ruben hesitated. Chief, can I ask a question? Speak. Why didn't you destroy Tyler too? He hit his son. He was the one who humiliated Diego. Hector leaned back in the chair, intertwined fingers, thoughtful. Because Tyler's just a stupid boy, a father's product. He had no real power. He had no real evil. Just stupidity. He paused. Richard Crane, on the other hand, had power. He allowed his son to grow like this. He raised that monster. So he needed to be destroyed. And will Tyler learn alone? Tyler will learn the hard way. He will wake up every day knowing that he was the one who destroyed his own family. He will carry it for the rest of his life. This is worse than anything I could do. Ruben nodded, respectful. Hector was relentless but fair, within the distorted standards themselves. And now, boss? Now we guarantee that Diego keeps living his life, in peace, as it should always have been. 2 days later, Tyler Crane appeared at Diego's school, not as a student. The family had no more money to pay tuition. He was there to get the last things from the closet, escorted by his mother, who seemed to have aged 10 years in a week. Tyler crossed the head of head, hood on the head, trying to be invisible, but it was impossible. Everyone knew. Everyone looked. Some took pictures. Others laughed low. The irony was cruel. Tyler was living exactly what Diego lived every day. Humiliation, isolation, forced invisibility. And then Tyler saw Diego, at the end of the corridor, alone, reading a book leaning against the closet. Tyler stopped. It took a deep breath. The mother whispered, Tyler, let's go. Wait. Tyler walked to Diego. Slow R. Each step was heavy. When he got close, Diego looked up. Silence. Tyler didn't know what to say. Tried. Opened his mouth. Closed. Tried again. I'm sorry. Diego closed the book. He looked at Tyler straight in the eyes. What? For everything, by slap, by the jokes, by the video, for being an idiot. Diego studied Tyler's face. Saw something different there. It was not arrogance. It was not evil. It was regret. Shame. Pain. I accept, Diego said simply. Tyler blinked. Surprised. Serious? Serious. But I humbled you, and now you are paying for it. Diego shrugged. I don't need to hate you to learn. Tyler felt something breaking in his chest. For the first time in his life, he felt the real weight of his own actions. Not because it was punished, but because it was forgiven. Thank you, Tyler whispered, a cracked voice. Diego nodded. Then he read the book again. Tyler left school with his mother. He got into the old car that was left after the goods were seized. He looked out the window. He saw the school disappear in the rearview mirror. I knew it would never come back. And at that moment, Tyler finally understood. He had not lost because Diego was strong. He had lost because he himself was weak. And life had a peculiar way of teaching lessons for those who refused to learn for good. That night, Diego had dinner with his grandmother as always. Rice, bean, chicken, conversations about the day. The grandmother noticed something different. Diego, are you okay? It looks more light. Diego smiled. I'm Grandma, only tired. But he was not tired. He was relieved. Because for the first time in a long time, no one had laughed at him in the corridor. No one had pushed. No one had insulted. For the first time, Diego had had a normal day, and that was all he always wanted. Meanwhile, Hector watched the house from afar. Dark car, tinned glasses. He saw Diego out the window, laughing, talking to her grandmother, happy. Hector smiled. It was a rare smile, genuine. Ready, Ruben? We can go. Mission accomplished, boss. Mission accomplished. The car left. Silent, invisible, like always. Diego would never know that his father was there. I would never know what he had done. I would never know the empire that moved in the shadows just to protect it. And maybe it was better like that, because some battles do not need to be seen to be overcome, and some revenge need not be raw to be perfect. Hector Morales had not destroyed Tyler Crane. He had destroyed the system that allowed Tyler's to exist, and that was much more powerful. 3 months later, the city no longer talked about Richard Crane. Scandals have short shelf life. The media found new targets, new corrupt politicians, new sensational headlines. Life followed, but some things never returned to normal. Richard Crane was sentenced to 8 years in prison for tax fraud and money laundering. The wife requested divorce 2 weeks after the arrest. The mansion was auctioned. The cars, seized. Bank accounts, frozen. Everything that was left of the Crane family fit in 3 bags. Tyler moved with his mother to a 2-bedroom apartment in a distant neighborhood. It started working in a supermarket. Shelves repositor. Minimum wage. Uniform yellow loose. Badge with poorly printed name. Every day he stacked boxes. Every day customers passed him without looking. Invisible. Insignificant. Just as he made others feel. One afternoon, while organizing bean cans, Tyler listened to laughs behind him. Turned. They were 2 boys from the old school. Ex-amigos. They held cell phones. Taking a picture. Dude, look, it's Tyler Crane packing shopping. Man, it really fell in disgrace, huh? Tyler felt his face burn. I wanted to scream. I wanted to curse. But could not. Not here. Not now. He needed the job. I needed the money. Needed to survive. Then he just lowered his head. Continued to work. Swallowed the humiliation. And at that moment, Tyler finally understood. What he did with Diego was no joke. It was cruelty. And now, he was on the other side, feeling every gram of the weight he put on the shoulders of others. Meanwhile, at the same school where it all started, Diego walked the corridors differently, not because it had changed. He was still the same body, same simple clothes, same shaved backpack. But something in the air had changed. People no longer laughed. They didn't push it anymore. They didn't insult anymore. Some even greeted. So, Diego, beauty bro? Diego responded with educated nods, but it did not seek approval. I didn't need to. He never needed. Mia approached him in the break, sat next to it. Did you realize that everyone is treating you differently? Diego shrugged. I noticed. Why do you think this happened? Because they are afraid. Fear of what? You did nothing. Diego looked at her. That calm look. That look that carried deep secrets. Exactly. I did nothing. And yet, who attacked me, fell. Mia frowned. Do you think it was a coincidence? Diego didn't answer. Just smiled. A small smile. Enigmatic. Because deep down, Diego was no longer naive. He had begun to join the pieces. The strange details. The speed of the fall of Richard Crane. The surgical accuracy of destruction. The total absence of tracks. It was not coincidence. Someone had protected him. Someone powerful. Invisible. Relentless. And Diego had a suspicion of who he was. That night, Diego did something he had never done. Sought on the internet. He researched Hector Morales. Found almost nothing. Some vacancies. Some old articles on suspected involvement in organized crimes. But nothing concrete. Nothing to prove. Diego closed the notebook. He looked at the framed photo on the shelf. He, at the age of 5, on the lap of a man of suit. The man smiled. Rare. Genuine. Father, Diego whispered. He didn't know everything. I didn't know the details. But I knew enough. His father was not just a distant businessman. His father was someone who moved mountains in silence. And Diego didn't know if he should be afraid or gratitude. Maybe the two. 2 weeks later, Diego received a letter. White envelope. Without sender. Delivered personally by a black man who disappeared before Diego could ask anything. He opened. Inside a single handwritten phrase. You have never been alone, and it will never be. H.M. Diego read 3 times. Doubled the letter. Stored under the pillow. That night he slept better than he had slept in years. Meanwhile, across town, Hector Morales had dinner alone in an empty restaurant he owned. He didn't eat in public. It was not exposed. But there, in that controlled place, he allowed a moment of peace. Ruben entered. He sat in front of him. Diego received the letter, boss. And? He understood. Hector nodded. It cut a piece of meat. Chewed slowly. Will he try to know more? Maybe. But you won't find anything we don't want to find. Good. Hector paused. And Tyler Crane? Working in a supermarket. Carelessly pay rent. The mother is sick. He's destroyed. Hector didn't smile. Did not celebrate. Just nodded. Did he learn? Ruben hesitated. I think so, boss. He's different. More humble. So he was lucky. Most people never learn. And now? Now nothing. We go back to work. Diego keeps living his life, and we keep protecting. From afar, as always. Ruben got up, waved. It went out. Hector was alone. He looked out the window. The city shone outside. Millions of lives, millions of stories. And he controlled so many of them without knowing. But only one really mattered. Diego, your son. The only pure thing in a dirty world. The only reason Hector still had something like soul. And Hector would do anything to keep that boy safe. Even if Diego never knew. Even if Diego never fully understood. Because that's what parents do. They protect. in silence, in the shadows, without waiting for recognition. And Hector Morales was many things: criminal, trafficker, assassin, but above all he was a father, and no one, played on his son without paying the price. And 6 months later, Diego was in the library again, reading, studying, preparing to enter the university. Mia sat next to him. "Did you see?" "I saw what?" "Tyler Crane. He posted a video." Diego borrowed the cell phone, watched. Tyler was sitting in a small room, deep dark circles, tired face, but there was something different. Sincerity, humility. "I wanted to apologize, really this time, for everyone I hurt, for everyone I humbled, especially for Diego Morales. I was an idiot. I thought I had power, but all I had was arrogance, and life taught me the difference." He paused. "I don't expect forgiveness. I just hope you are not like I was, because in the end we always pay for what we do." Diego returned the cell phone. He read the book again. "Aren't you going to comment anything?" Mia asked. "I don't need to. He has already learned." "You're strange, Diego. Anyone would be celebrating." Diego smiled. "I don't celebrate the pain of others, Mia, not who has done me. So you are better than most people." "No, I only understood one thing that most never understand." "What?" Diego closed the book. He looked at her. "What revenge does not bring peace? Justice, yes, but revenge? Never." Mia didn't completely understand, but accepted. They were silent, comfortable, pacific, and at that moment, Diego finally felt something that sought all his life: peace, not because it destroyed who hurt him, but because he understood that he has always been stronger than any insult, any slap, any humiliation. And it didn't come from muscles. It didn't come from money. It didn't come with revenge. It came from within, of dignity, of character, of humanity, and that, no one could take it. But our life has a peculiar way of teaching lessons. Tyler Crane learned that arrogance always falls. Richard Crane learned that power without character is illusion. Diego Morales learned that real force is silent. And Hector Morales? He already knew all this. Because when you control whole empires, but the only thing that really matters is your child's smile, you understand that true power is not in destroying enemies. It's in protecting who you love. No noise, without credit, without recognition, just love. And this is the most powerful lesson of all. If you enjoyed this story, you subscribe to the channel, because life always has more twists than we think. And who knows, the next story can be about you. Until next time.